to like and subscribe, even hit the hype button if you're feeling nice. Hello peoples, welcome back to Just Reactions. I'm Devon, and today I'm going to be doing a review about the movie The Sure Thing from 1985. If I'm wrong about that, the correct thing will be above me, I'm sure. Now, this was requested as a reaction, and I did react to it, but 22 minutes in, apparently OBS, the recording software, had an encoding problem or something, so majority of the reaction was not recorded. Unfortunately. So I guess I'll just basically tell you how I felt or whatever. So it starts off with main character whose name is his last name's Gibson, I think it was. I could never get his first name. I feel like either his first name was Gibson or his last name is Gibson, but people were calling him Gibson, Gibby, Giblet. There was a lot going on. Okay, so he's getting out of high school, right? He's talking to his friend Lance. His friend Lance is going to California, for the babes or whatever. And that he's like, but no, I'm going to England. I swear he said England. That's what I heard. He's like, no, I'm going to England where you can get a good education. And so I'm like, okay, good for you. He's an intellectual. He's smart. He's gonna go and do the smart thing. Um, so then he gets to class. He's doing terribly. He's not putting in any effort. He seems like he has the brains because like when he's like helping his roommate write this thing, he's coming up with these interesting phrases and some good prose and stuff. And then there was another instance where he seemed really smart. Oh, whenever he was trying to get the girl to help him study for supposedly help him study. He came up with this elaborate story that off the cuff, and then later in the story, whenever she almost gets attacked by that one man in the truck, he comes up with the whole "I'm crazy" story, and just like words just flow out of him, like it's so crazy. So he seems to be smart to me, at least for the most part, but he's like lazy, doesn't care to apply himself, doesn't care to try, is like really a party boy, and I'm just like, so why aren't you in California if you're not going to apply yourself anyway? Like, you might as well just be in California partying with your friend. But so he's like having no luck with women apparently the entire time, supposedly. And his friend tells him, "Oh yeah, come to California. There's a girl I got to set you up with. It'll be perfect." So then he's trying to go to California for that. And then the girl, whose name I definitely don't know, is trying to go to California to visit her boyfriend Jason. Okay, they end up together in the car, and then not Jason. What is his name? Gibson. He's annoying the whole time. He's messy. He's loud. He's inappropriate. He's shotgunning beer in someone else's car. Crazy to me. And then he starts like egging on the girl and bothering her and gets her riled up until she flashes her boobs in the street, out the car into the street, and then they get pulled over for it. Driver man gets a ticket for indecent exposure, which makes no sense to me because they were not his boobs, but whatever. And they get kicked out the car. Then they're hitchhiking together basically. She tries to hitchhike alone. Yeah, we know how that goes. And then so they're hitchhiking together. And he knows she has a boyfriend this whole time, but he's still trying to wiggle his way in there or not. And then they're leaving one motel. She's like, "Don't rush me." He's like, "Hurry up," the whole time. That she leaves all the money and her schedule book. Even though I'm surprised that was all the money because he had money himself. Like he was just at the bar spending money, so he had money on him. But unless he spent all the money he had at the bar, which I wouldn't be surprised with his stupid self. And then, um, so now they got no money. Then they get stuck in the rain. He breaks and enters and gets them into a cabin, which has no roof anyway. Then he tries to break and enter into an RV, which I'm like, how many places are we breaking and entering into? And then she realizes slash finds out she had to have known already, like, but forgot. She remembers slash realizes she has a credit card. She's like, oh my gosh, I got a credit card. I got a credit card. And then she goes, oh, but it's not for emergencies. And I'm like, girl, don't get on my nerves. And then they go from, oh, it's only for emergencies to, oh, now we're fine dining, having veal and whatnot. And I'm like, okay. And then these, whatever, whatever. So they do the fine dining, but then they keep hitchhiking. And I'm like, do cabs not exist? Or another bus? Because they tried to take the bus earlier, which I hope she got a refund for her ticket because she ended up not going because he didn't go. Whatever. I don't know why she was so worried about this grown man who has been nothing but annoying, mind you. Um, oh yeah, he did rescue her from that one predator. Okay, I guess there's that. But no, wasn't that after? It doesn't matter. Um, but yeah, they don't try to take a cab or a bus. They just keep hitchhiking. He convinces her to pretend to be pregnant at one point. I'm like, I don't know how that helps because the lady that picked them up was so nice. I feel like she would have helped them either way. Um, she pretends to be pregnant a little bit. They don't get caught, which would have been super funny. So I'm like, it really felt like a waste of a thing. And then they're in the truck with the man who finally gets them the last leg of the trip, right? And then she wakes up at the perfect time to hear him talking about how he's planning on having this no strings attached, meaningless sex, sure thing with this woman in California. And then she gets mad at him. Once they get out the car or truck, he's like, "Why aren't you talking to me?" She's like, "Oh, you go have your sure thing. You know, we don't need to talk anymore. We're going our separate ways." And I'm like, you have a boyfriend. Why are you mad that this darn near stranger, acquaintance, in your words, is planning on having meaningless sex with a stranger to you? Like, it's not like it's your best friend that he's trying to have meaningless sex with. It's not like this is your boyfriend that's about to go cheat on you. You barely know this man. He's been nothing but annoying. He ruined your ride with those annoying show tune people. You could have been there right on time, perfectly, but no. He ruined everything for you. And you're mad that he's about to go sleep with someone else? Like, first of all, he's slept with multiple people already. Like, he's had, I'm sure, meaningless sex before. Presumably he was telling the truth in the beginning. Like, this isn't something new that he's trying out for the first time. Maybe it's the first time you know about it, but that's because, again, you're only acquaintances with this man. There's no reason for you to be upset. And you have a boyfriend that you need to be focused on, so you should be worried about what anybody else is doing with their bodies. So then she goes to her boyfriend, who is so nice, right? He gets in, he's like, oh, let me grab that bag for you that you're carrying for some reason, because what's his face? Gibby carried her bag one whole time, the whole time, and that was after what happened? Something happened specific. Dang, I forget what it was. But there was something happened. I don't know if it was the fine dining or what, but I think it was after the fine dining. After the fine dining, I think was when she was carrying her bag. He was like, "Oh, let me grab that for you." I'm like, she's been carrying this for days now, and now all of a sudden you wanna be a gentleman and carry it for her. Get out my face. As soon as she came to that door, the boyfriend Jason was like, "Let me grab that for you." Then he was like, "Here, I cleared out this drawer for you, accommodating. I set aside half of my closet for you, accommodating." He was like, I got us flannel sheets, which I guess they were into for some reason. I don't know. I don't like. I think that was a weird idea because it's like that sounds kind of sweaty. But if they're into it and she's into it, it's like, look at that. Nice, sweet. And then he's like, "Oh, you want some tea? I got this tea, I got that tea, I got this tea and that tea." He's giving options. Like, seriously. He's hugging her like, "Oh, I missed you." He said I missed you at least twice. He's like, "Oh, I missed you so much." And she's just like literally ignoring him basically the whole time. I'm like, girl, he is a good man. He's not even bad. He's good looking too. Like more so with the glasses off, but it's like he's not ugly. He looks good. He's kind, attentive, accommodate. Like he's got his life planned out. And then she's like, oh, they're playing cards or whatever. He's like, oh, here we go. I mean, it seemed kind of boring, but like if you want to do something more fun, suggest something more fun, go ahead, add some spice to the relationship, to the day. But she's like, you got beer. She's trying to shotgun beer, getting beer all over his table and his cards, on his glasses. I'm like, you shotgun one beer unsuccessfully. Now all of a sudden you're a beer drinker. Now you're shotgun beers in this man's face, getting everything everywhere. Like, she, after leaving Gibson, she basically turned into him. And I'm like, why? Where is this coming from? I can see she loosens up a little bit, right? She started trying to have a little bit of fun, but she just, new person, new personality. Well, not new, Gibson's personality all of a sudden. And I'm just like, why? Why? Um, and then she's like, let's go to Disneyland or whatever. And I'm like, that's so unrealistic. And then she's like, let's go to the party. And he's like, well, this part, I was little looking at Jason a little sideways. He's like, we don't like parties. They're sweaty and hot and crowded. I'm like, we don't like parties. Have we said that before? Or are you saying you don't like parties and you're trying to lump me in with you? Because you can't speak for me now. But anyway, Jason definitely doesn't want to go to the party. But what do they do in a few scenes later? They're both at the party. Even if he doesn't want to do it, you want to do it, he's going to give it a try for you cuz he's what? A good man. And then the whole time they're there, what's Gibson and whatever the girl's name is are like trying to make each other jealous the whole time, and I'm like, you're literally using your boyfriend to try to make this other man jealous. Girl, I hate you too now. Like, you've been corrupted by Gibson. Like, you're both terrible people now. You're both terrible people now. And you kind of deserve it. Like, I didn't before. I was saying, like, in the beginning of the movie, I was like, I know these two are gonna end up together. I know that's the whole thing. It's obviously they're gonna end up together. But now, I was like, I really don't want that because he seems like a terrible person, lazy, um, slightly amoral. Like, what's the word for like the opposite of accommodating? Like, he doesn't think about anything, self-centered. And I'm like, he seemed like a terrible person. And she seemed so nice. She had her life on track. She had her schedule like perfect. She was getting good grades. She had plans. She had a good boyfriend. Like, everything seemed perfect for her, right? And then he comes along and just starts messing everything up. And I'm supposed to want them to end up together. But once she started being like, you know, like, I don't know what the word is, not being the woman. No, Jason deserved better than what she started doing to him, is what I'm saying. And once that happened, I was like, oh, you're a terrible person now, too. You two deserve each other because you're both terrible people. So then they get back to Jason's place, and he's like asking all the right questions, like, why do you know his breakfast? Well, he asked this on the way, but like, why do you know his breakfast order? Why does he know you hug the sheets, even though everybody hugs the sheets? So, or blankets, whichever you call it. And then he's like, but then he kills. What gets me for Jason, the second thing that gets me with Jason is like, he goes, "You slept with him, didn't you?" Or he said, "You made love with him, didn't you?" And I'm like, how you just gonna accuse your girlfriend of making love with this man? Like, and then he goes, "Did you make love with him?" I'm like, yeah, you should have asked the question before saying, "Oh, you did this," because like, "Oh, you did this" is like, so now you're calling me a slut, huh? Like you're saying I'm a whore. I'm just sleeping with people. I'm a cheater. Is what you're saying? But if you ask, like, even asking is kind of like a little pointed, but it's like at least you're saying, "Oh, this didn't happen, did it?" Like, or did this happen? It's not like, "Oh, you slept with him, huh?" It's like, so that's what you think of me, huh? Like, you definitely think I did it. That would set me off. But she was pretty nice about it. She was just like, "No, I didn't. I promise. I swear." Um, which is true. She didn't. So, they never even kissed. So I'm just, yeah. So then, um, he Gibson takes Blondie to the room. It cuts off. We don't know what happens. Then we get back to school. The teacher is reading out Gibson's next paper, and it's like talking about nubile bodies and whatnot. This teacher just loves reading out the raunchiest stuff out loud. It's crazy to me. She was reading about 10-inch man meat earlier. She just would not. He tried to stop her. She would not stop. She kept going and going. Like that paper was getting worse as she read it, and she just kept on going. I'm like, girl, you just love reading this raunchy stuff out loud. So then anyway, paper was so unnecessary. He could have just told her this to her face. Paper ends up revealing he did not sleep with that woman that night. And so then she's like, "Ah, you didn't sleep with her?" And then he's like, "No. Are you still with Jason?" And she's like, "No, we broke up." And I'm like, Jason better have broken up with you because he deserved a lot better. And if you broke up with him, that'd be so sad. Like, he was a good man. You did him dirty, and then you break up with him. I mean, either way, y'all need to stop dating, but he really should have been the one to do it. Anyway. And then she's like, "You really didn't sleep with her?" And then they end up kissing and making out and they're together. And I'm like, he he was your acquaintance. You got mad once you found out he was planning on having meaningless sex with this woman. And then once you find out he didn't, all of a sudden you're wanting to date him. It's like, do you just hate the idea of meaningless sex? Like, is that meaningless sex like the line like, oh, you can't date someone who's planning to or has had meaningless sex? Like that just seems such an arbitrary thing to be hung up on to me. And it's like, why do you care so much about his previous sex life? It's like as long as he's not, giving you any diseases, what do we care for? But anyway, I ended up, unlike I thought at the beginning, I ended up happy they ended up together because they're two terrible people and now nobody else has to deal with them. Yeah. It was a pretty good movie, pretty good movie.